I was told that this would never work.
There's lots of garages that are struggling to find people that know the old skills to fix older cars.
I cannot stress how important an organisation like this is to the future. Today I'm at Brooklands, the home of British aviation and motorsport, and behind me you can see one of the most famous things that was designed here, Concorde. And in fact everything that's forward of the wing and everything that's behind the wing was actually built here and then shipped off to France for assembly alongside the wing itself and the fuselage. This is also the site of the world's first international racetrack, so there's a lot of heritage here. And for all of the development of things like that behind me, there had to be an amazing set of skills. And as we move forward into modern day, a lot of those skills needed to make amazing things like that and to maintain those wonderful things that I like to show on the channel are being lost. And today we're here to look at the Heritage Skills Academy, where those vital skills for the continuation of our hobby are being taught to a whole new generation. Behind me is one of the two workshops that Heritage Skills Academy have. There's one obviously here at Brooklands and the other one is over at Vista. Let's go have a look inside. This may just look like a workshop, but genuinely it's one of the most exciting places I've ever been. Not just because there's over £200,000 worth of equipment, they are teaching all aspects of vehicular restoration in here, from coach building and woodwork to panel beating to welding different kinds of, and honestly some of the work is phenomenal. We're all aware that so much of what we enjoy is now becoming harder to maintain. The skills that are being taught in this workshop represent the very future of the hobby that we enjoy. The apprentices who are on this course are going to learn those skills that people like me haven't got a clue about. And every single apprentice here is already employed in the heritage or automotive industries and come here for a week at a time to learn these skills. There are over 200 apprentices enrolled in various courses between the two sites. Here at Brooklands, there are 80 of them. 70 are involved in the coach building courses. Now, coach building is very much becoming a lost art, and to see so many young people who are excited about getting involved in the industry and working on restoring and maintaining heritage vehicles is really, really, really exciting. And this whole thing is criminally underrated. And it's not just training for apprentices that they do. If you, say, want to learn how to weld properly to the very high standard that they showcase in this workshop, then they offer short courses where people like you and I can come in and learn to do it properly. And frankly, based on the standard of work elsewhere, that it is a very high standard, and it's actually something that I'm contemplating doing myself.
Yes. So if I put it on there, this is like a flame, we're both safe. Oh. Yeah.
So my specialty is probably aluminium welding. That's something that I really enjoy doing. So that's oxyacetylene or gas welding, but also TIG welding. I have always been interested in cars, classic cars. My dad had them when he was growing up. My first car was a 1958 Ford Anglia 100E, which is just outside. Just kind of found that I was naturally more practical. And from there, I decided to come into teaching and try and share the skills that I had. And it's just really important that there are more people coming into it to sustain it, because I want to keep my car on the road and there are other cars out there that need to be kept on the roads.
Behind me, you can see some of the welding rigs, and this gives you an idea of the scale of the organisation here. You can't teach a class of 12 apprentices with just a single welding rig. You need to have enough for them all. And when those apprentices have started to learn those skills, there are actual vehicles in here for them to test out their knowledge on. The workmanship is absolutely superb. In fact, if we see on this thing here, the front end, the front brackets here are all brand new, and you'd never know because the workmanship is that high. In fact, these are the second ones that got put on because the tutor was unhappy with the level of quality of the first lot and chopped them off and made the apprentices do it again. It really is teaching that top level. And when we came in, he said to me to point out what I thought was new, and I went, I don't know. It's an absolutely fantastic thing to be able to look at a project and teach that kind of thinking, to go, well, we can't get a new one of those, so we're going to have to rebuild it. And to be able to teach that new way of thinking to a new generation of how to solve problems is a truly exciting and very, very important task. Because this is actually going to work one day, and that's pretty cool. As you can see over behind me, it's not just typical heritage. They're learning the skills to be able to work on more modern vehicles like the Ford Ka. I was being told earlier that the metal changed used in car construction around 2003, so they need to learn to recognise different techniques. If you weld a new car in the same way as you weld an old car, that weld will not hold up. And talking to some of the tutors, the apprentices are so hungry to learn.
The apprentices are great. Genuinely, hand on heart, they just make me so proud.
What we've found is that there's lots of garages that are struggling to find coach builders, panel beaters, crash repair people that know the old skills to fix older cars.
There is no one here that doesn't want to be here.
I am here because I wanted a challenge. I wanted to train and I wanted to learn a new skill.
I much prefer older cars, and that's why I enjoy it really. It's just I get to work on exciting cars and see them every day. So
I'm here because I've always had a passion for classic cars. It's been something what my dad's told me about, helping him restore Mark II Escort.
I had been tinkering on cars on my driveway and I wanted to gain confidence and not have to do it outside anymore. And then the Heritage Skills Academy came up.
When I was in sixth form, didn't want to go to uni, just kept looking for different courses that might be of interest, and this one came up. I thought it was perfect, so I can get involved in this, bit of work experience as well. Really good opportunity.
I signed up and they've taught me everything I know really.
A lot of our apprentices do have an older vehicle themselves. They're really invested in how to succeed, but quality, not just rush ahead and not just get things done for the sake of it, just, oh, can you sign this off? It's kind of good. They're like, no, I want it to be better, so that what they produce at work is quality. And they take it back to their workplaces, and their workplaces see the value in this.
They learn to appreciate the tools and what the value of them are.
Every time they come back and they get better, you know, like you can get emails from them on a weekend saying, look what I just welded up, or look what I just made, and look, I just fixed my car.
If you come here, you learn everything involved in those different parts. So you get to do things you don't always do at work, and that's kind of the main thing of this college really.
Having been a college student myself, I know how difficult it was for our tutors to teach lots of students who didn't necessarily want to be there. And watching them get on and learn new skills is fantastic, even for me who is effectively skillless. It's hugely rewarding seeing this going on and knowing that this is happening and these people are learning skills. It's just great. I know I keep saying this is fantastic and it's great, but it genuinely is. This is the single most exciting thing I've seen in a very long time.
Well, for about 25 years, the industry had not done any training. It was getting to the stage where we had some very skilled people. They were all beginning to either retire or stop working or just getting ill or whatever. So it was going to be lost. So we spoke to the industry. They said the younger generation not interested. We said they probably were but don't know about it. We started promoting the opportunities and advertising interesting jobs and interesting career progression opportunities, and people started coming to us. And the employers' eyes lit up and said, well, that's great. There are some young people out there. And over the last 6 years, we've gone from 8 to over 200 now.
So if you want to come on programme, obviously contact Heritage Skills Academy. They would do an initial vetting with you. It's nice if you found yourself a job and now you're looking for somewhere to be trained. That's great. If not, we do offer garages contact us and ask us for apprentices. So we do have a pool of apprentices, potential apprentices to put into place. And they will be their apprentice, but we will deliver the coach building side of things. 3 years of training on site. It's 1 week every 6 weeks.
My passion has always been the cars. I was told that this would never work and that the classic industry didn't want any new apprentices. It would rather close its doors and just drift away. And that was like a red rag to a bull to me. So I thought, no, I'll prove you wrong. And we have.
It does have a demand worldwide.
And it's great seeing those skills develop and these young engineers blossom.
What's particularly exciting is it's not just the traditional sticking of metal together with the advanced glue. It's things like this. This is a silicone mould because they've been making their own lenses out of a resin for those obscure vehicles that you can't get a replacement piece of glass. They're learning the skill set here to make their own replacement lenses. It's so much more than just a basic mechanics. It's a whole overview of vintage vehicle maintenance and repair and creation, I suppose, of new stuff.
If it was clear, this would be a good one, but you can see the difference in like how different each mixture makes it.
Without this skill set, if, say, my Moggy 1000 has a broken lens, how else will I get another one?
It's very different to the modern engineering side, which is you plug and play and you work out what goes wrong and you just take something off and replace it with something new. For us, it's very much about, well, what's wrong? How do we investigate that? And once we've investigated it, it's how do you correct it? We can't use those materials anymore. They're illegal to use, so we've got to find a replacement. Or we haven't even got the technology. We don't even know how they made those things. So you've got to recreate them. It's a fantastic blend of old and new.
We have a friend of mine come in and do a little bit of interior trim with them on recovering seats. We focus on sun visors, gear stick gaiters, door card corners, and they learn how to mark out pleats and they get to actually sew them with our sewing machines.
We go into composites, we go into aluminium, gas welding, steel welding, TIG welding, koozie-free welding, plastic welding, mouldings, making panels, knocking out dents, jig work, chassis work, alignment, plumb bobs, checking drop checks, right the way through to the modern process with electronic measuring systems. So we teach a hell of a big range of things.
So we've been doing welding 4 blocks, so it's about revisiting skills with TIG welding and oxyacetylene welding, and they've had to independently mark out and work out the dimensions for a vacuum tank. And then they've then produced a vacuum tank in 1 mil steel, and then they've welded it together. They've dye tested their welds, they've learned about non-destructive testing, they've learned about weld defects, and now they're just doing a little bit about TIG bracing as well. If you can't get a replacement panel for a vehicle, or you can't get a part, it's about how to try and work with what you've got left over best you possibly can. Making that decision, so we do a little bit of like business with them as well about how to project manage and how to actually kind of make those decisions about, you know, is it viable on this vehicle, on this part? Is it actually worth the time and the labour going into this?
Lots of places do your basics of engineering and basics of sticking metal together and basic stuff, but stuff like that and the woodwork and the more obscure things are so exciting to see because it's just not covered.
Yeah.
There's a big range of cars. We will work on stuff from the turn of the last century right the way up to, say, 2005.
The industry is thriving. The industry turns over anywhere between 8 and 10 billion pounds a year. So there's an enormous range of opportunities.
I think the best thing about this, having spoken to people that have done apprenticeships in the past, is that we get a week of block release rather than a day a week. So we can actually get into bigger projects and we've got more time here to ask questions and practice skills that potentially we wouldn't have time to do at work.
The sense of community that the apprentices feel coming here and working together and being amongst like-minded people is something so important. And having peers who you respect, you can go to, is brilliant.
Yeah, on a Thursday we'll go for a meal, you know, to mark the end of the week and say goodbye for next time, yeah.
All of the apprentices that we've spoken to today have so much respect for their tutors, for the knowledge that they have and the time that they put in. And it's a really exciting and rewarding thing to be around with everybody hoping to better each other. It's wonderful to see.
And we've got the best team in the world. And the rest of the world is looking at it. We love what we do. We love the interesting people that we meet. The apprentices are the best apprentices I've ever worked with in my life. They are an absolute privilege to work alongside. Somebody, or the next generation of tutors and development coaches, have to be able to take this up to the next level. I need to hand the baton on. But if you don't do this, the skills and the knowledge and the experience of the older generation will be lost. And once it's gone, it's gone. And there's no coming back from that. And then all we're left with is dead steam engines that nobody knows how to fire up, nobody knows how to drive, and everybody's scared of, and then there's no enthusiasm for it. There's fun, there's excitement, there's a challenge, and there's opportunities, and a career in what we have.
I cannot stress how important an organisation like this is to the future. We need skilled individuals coming along. I couldn't have a visit here at Brooklands without coming up and actually looking upon the famous racetrack itself, seeing the size of that bank, the size of the cojones of the guys who used to race here in cars that don't have any of those modern aids, who roared along here at speeds unknown to man. And to think that some of the skills that we've seen being taught today are the very skills that are going to be needed to maintain the kind of vehicle that would have once hurtled round here. It's a really reassuring thing to see young people being excited and being taught the skills necessary to keep heritage alive. And for me, as it's something that I'm really passionate about and that I want the channel to help promote, I'm so excited to see other people taking heritage and the next generation seriously. These skills are vitally important, and without them, we will lose this hobby that we love so much. If you'd like more information, there is a link in the video description that will take you over to the Heritage Skills Academy's website, where you can find out all about it yourself and hopefully get involved. Really, I cannot recommend it enough. So a massive thank you to the Heritage Skills Academy for inviting me down and showing me the amazing work that they do. And with that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let us know in the comments below what you think about this slightly different format of video. And if you have enjoyed this, how about clicking somewhere over there for another LMM video on something, or down there for, I don't know, some other video suggestions over there, something you probably like. And with that, I'm going to go find the car and see if they'll let me do a lap. Unlikely, because it's no longer a complete circuit, but you know, I can try. Where did I park?